Yeah, we are in the place to be.
Good morning. It is April 19th, and Wednesday. We usually do our shows on Thursday, but I'm excited to have a special guest with us on today's show, the Kirk Anderson Show. And today I have with me Janet Johnson, who is a fellow marketing professional. What I do for a full-time job, she does also for a full-time job, and she works in different areas than I do in a lot of ways. And so I'm going to learn today along with everyone. And so if you have questions about our topic today, I would encourage you to put them into the chat box below on Facebook, and let us know what your questions are. But today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence as it relates to business success. And before we get going on that, I want to just go back to yesterday's show with Ben and Fitzy, Sheriff Fitzgerald from Barron County. Ben had an opportunity to sit down with Fitzy and go over a lot of the details from what the Sheriff's Department and the Chetek and Cameron Police Departments experienced over the last week or so with the shooting deaths of two police officers. And so I've lit up the background here with red and blue in honor of fallen officers from Chetek and from Cameron. Our hearts have just been hurting for the last week for Emily and for Hunter. And so it wouldn't be right to do anything without first just acknowledging what happened and just let the officers and the Sheriff's Department know that we have their backs and we are thinking and praying for them. So thank you for all the support that the community's given to Barron County over the last week or so. And so without further ado, I want to introduce my special guest, someone that I've known for a long time and followed on social media. Janet Johnson is a solopreneur of sorts. Do you have a team at this point, or are you still working?
No, I have a team of about five or six, some
Okay,
freelancers too.
awesome. So basically working a lot in the advertising space on social media, and has recently really stepped into connecting with AI and using that for part of the business as well. So Janet, before we get going, tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started with what you're doing, what your background is, and anything else you want to share as far as your personal life. You can dig into that. I know you're heading to Nashville today after
Yeah.
this to speak, and
hmm
so you've got some gigs going in other places than Minnesota and Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about how
Thanks.
you got started.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Well, I age myself when I say how I got started, but it's basically I go way back to the even MySpace time. So I set up profiles on MySpace. I mean, Kirk, you've been doing this a long time too. So, you know, um, I started the internet marketing because I started selling on eBay originally. And that was shifted a lot. And over the years, that was like really even social media wasn't even a thing back then.
Right.
So I've done pretty much everything on the internet. But then I shifted over the years to Google stuff. And then I shifted to social media. And now I've really shifted my business to mainly lead generation with the social media ads, because that's where you can really see a true return on investment and really scale up your business with ads specifically. So that's one of the areas that I focus on. But being that I've done it all, and I know how to build these online sales funnels and build online courses and that kind of thing. So I've done many, I have many of my own, and I moved into the AI world just recently because it speeds things up so much. So that's kind of how we've moved into the AI world of things. But yeah, so I'm excited to share. The one thing I will say, I am, everybody's new with AI, so we're all brand new with AI, but I have some, cool stories of what it's done for my business
Yeah.
already within just the last couple months.
Well, I think that AI is something that you're either going to get on board with or you're probably going to miss out on the opportunity. And we can probably look back to a bunch of different things that we wish we would have hopped on, and probably some
Yeah.
things we wish we would have bypassed. But technology is one of those things that there is a gate that the entry point is relatively new and exciting, and you can, whether it's just reserve your name in some new space so your branding stays consistent, or really develop a process to utilize it. And AI is something that I think needs to be taken advantage of. I think we all went through a phase where we sold on eBay. I had a little eBay stint as well back in the early 2000s. And
Yep.
now I just usually buy on eBay, but
Yep. Me too. Me too. I left that business a long time ago, but yeah, it's if you really have something nice to get rid of and expensive and it's cheap for shipping, yeah, I might throw it on eBay, but yeah.
sure, yeah. So when we talk about some of these, if we define the things that we're talking about, we're going to talk specifically. Oh, and that's Ben, of course, wants to know what is AI. We're going to define that. So AI is artificial intelligence, and it's basically using the computer connected to the internet, using all the vast resources of the internet, as well as some amazing searchability and content building, automatic content building, to do things, whether it's processes or create products, find information, write blogs. I think some college students are writing papers,
Yeah,
and
for
they're going to
sure.
find out that somehow the schools are going to figure out how to decide whether or not they're AI generated. But right now, there's some pretty amazing content being developed. You talk about Meta, that might come up. And when you talk about Meta, just so people who maybe don't pay a whole lot of attention to Facebook, Meta is Facebook and also Instagram. And so that's part of their bigger branding. And then we'll talk about some other things. So what are some of the areas that you like to utilize the marketing dollars that your clients have for you? Where are you spending that, and why do you pick those specific platforms?
The only two at the moment, well, there's kind of three, but the main one for years since I think I've really specialized in that area since 2017, 16 is the Meta. So Facebook and Instagram advertising. That's the main one. But lately it has really, TikTok ads have taken off. TikTok ads they kind of copied Facebook. So it's easy for somebody that's done that to go over to TikTok. But that's more about the creative because you've really got to have good videos because it's all about videos. So I would say those are the top two by far right now. And we also do a little bit with YouTube ads as well. So YouTube
Okay.
ads can be really good as well. Now I've heard Twitter's improving and I've heard Pinterest is improving. Google ads are great. Don't get me wrong. I
Right.
don't specialize in Google ads, but I think that's it depends on the business completely for the
So
Google ads.
for those of us who are, over 45, TikTok is not an area that I spend any time on. I got an account because my kids wanted to get an account, so I got an account and then pretty much took it off my phone just because of the content that's on there. I think there's like the good area of TikTok probably, and then there's probably the area that you just don't want to go to. So how are you helping businesses kind of navigate that line where there's a lot of creepy stuff on there with predator type stuff, and then there's a really good business model for brands to market their products and services. How do you help businesses navigate through that? Because I can imagine that they have to be as apprehensive as I am to, get on there and a lot of fun videos, but a lot of times it's like, not really my jam. So how do you as the marketing person?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And I will say I was jumped on it in 2018 because you and I probably have jumped on a lot of bandwagons of these social media sites that come and go. And, even look at Google Plus. I mean, I was teaching Google Plus years ago. But the bottom line is I left it in 2018, took it off my phone as well. And I hired a business coach, and we were learning about ads, and they were doing super good over on TikTok ads. And I'm like, maybe I need to look at that again. And that was about 9 months ago, probably. So it's been under a year. But bottom line is TikTok is not what people think it is, as us older people, demographic. First off, you can run ads without even having a personal account, which is completely different from Facebook.
Right.
You have to go through your personal account in order to run ads there. So I've had a lot of business owners that have never been on TikTok ever, and they set up a business account and we can run ads. So that's number one. Then they end up jumping on it and end up usually doing the organic side as well. But the algorithm with TikTok is way better than the other social media platforms. Way better. In my opinion.
Is that because it's newer and has less people on there, or have they just refined it to the point where it just works better?
It's their AI side of things. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in a way, like it's kind of like how their AI algorithm works. They're smart. I feel like they're probably even smarter with the ads. There's not as many people there, of course. Facebook, it's kind of like 90% plus of the population's there. Whereas, I don't know the amount of population, but it's super fast growing on TikTok. But you're really like in their face with the videos, first off. And what happens with the algorithm, like for instance, I started watching a whole bunch of AI videos. Well, now what do I get fed? Just AI after AI after AI. I don't see the things you're talking about at all. Not in my feed.
You don't see like a bunch of dancing kids that are on the trends? Well,
Never.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Nope. So it's the more time you spend and the more time. So then I searched, like I went to Portugal this year. I spoke in Portugal as well. And so we're going to go back again. And so I've been searching, I look up things, Portugal. So then that ends up in my feed with the AI or with marketing things. But I do not see anything of, So you can make your feed basically.
Good.
You create it. Yep. And the short form can get you to learn. Well, it makes you ADD a little bit, but it also can make you learn so much faster, and you can get in so much more content fast.
So what does an ad look like on? I know what an ad looks like on Facebook. If you're watching a video, it interrupts in the middle, and then you have to watch it to get to the second part of your. That's usually when I skip the video to watch the next video, because it kind of drives you nuts to have that interruption. And Facebook has really blanketed everything with some sort of an ad. Is that kind of how it is on TikTok too, where you're watching, because they're very short videos, so there's not a lot of time.
Yep. The most important is the first 3 to 5 seconds by far. You got to grab their attention the first 3 to 5 seconds. Bottom line is looks exactly like when you're scrolling through the TikTok and it's a video. So it's only video. People don't even read the text.
Right.
So really it's got to be about the creative when it comes to the ads.
And I can imagine that the best marketing videos are kind of posed as actual videos. Is that hitting it kind of in the space where you maybe don't even know that you're getting advertised to? Exactly.
So you're educating. Mine are talking head videos, and I've converted in the last 45 days. I got 3 new clients just from my ads on TikTok ads. So, I mean, and mine are just talking head videos, but I'm talking about why they should be doing TikTok ads. And then, and then mine was actually a lead gen source. So it was a giveaway.
Yeah. One of my good friends from childhood is a chiropractor. And he does, I see him on Instagram because I'm not on TikTok, but he may do them on TikTok as well. But he pays an individual to take some videos that he puts together that are talking head, talking specifically about, aching bones and joints and high blood sugar or whatever the issue is. And then he puts them in with text and music and overlays in just this snappy thing that that are kind of fun to watch, and they're educational. So I would think that would be kind of what you're attempting to do as well. So.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly it. Yep. So it works great. I mean, it works great, and bottom line is, TikTok works for some, Facebook works for some, and the one thing I will say is your age group thing that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We have a client that actually has done, well, we were doing $50,000 a month in ad spend, if that says anything.
Wow.
And they were getting a return of 10 to 25%. And their target market was 35 plus people that actually had money to invest because their ticket price was $10,000 to $30,000. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm just trying to explain, it's not just teenagers.
Yeah.
Just so
well, I know there's
a
lot of adults on there, but they're the ones that I try and keep my kids away from. So.
It's not that way anymore. It used to be, and you know what I always say to people? It's like, well, you know what? That happens on Instagram. It happens on Facebook. It happens. I heard about it happening on Pinterest of all places. So
no, my wife and I have had conversations with our kids about Pinterest as well, because we were shocked when we were starting to see people instant messaging our 13-year-old and shut it down right away. They can follow you, they can instant message you, they can do all kinds of stuff. And if you're not paying attention as a parent, it's really dangerous for kids. They get sucked into that kind of stuff. And working in well, I don't know if you probably know, I'm the mayor in St. Croix Falls, and so I work closely with the police department and with law enforcement. And a lot of the discussions that we have about safety in our city revolve around the schools and social media and things like that. And we've had people that have attempted to make contact with kids and things like that through social media. So it becomes a real big deal when it's like in your community. And so, those are things that as a father of 5, I care about. And
believe me, I get it. I've had to block a lot of dudes.
I'm sure. Yeah. No, it's funny. We have a friend of mine just was running for election, and she said that when she set up her Facebook page, she was asked out several times by people, and it's rampant. So they're probably using some form of AI to connect. It's amazing when we post a story on Dryden Wire in relation to something that's happening in current events, how fast the bots will put a fake link on there. When we go to state for sports events, I will block 30 or 40 different links where people are trying to get you to pay for watching the event, and they're all spam, and they're all probably automated unless they have someone sitting in another country just feeding that. So you have some slides to kind of go through AI and Chat GPT, which is one of the more popular AI platforms that have maybe people have heard about. If you are watching and you have questions about AI, or you have questions about something for your business, or you work with somebody, or you want to bring this to your boss and say, hey, we should do something like this, maybe do some advertising on TikTok or on Instagram and Facebook, put those in the chat. Janet will have her contact information so that you can reach out to her and ask her any questions. But we'll go ahead and I'll put the presentation on here. This is something that you provide in a class, and so you're getting a little sneak peek. So I'll turn it over to you, and if I have questions, I'll interrupt you.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk about ChatGPT in a minute, but this ChatGPT is the software or the system that everybody's using and talking about. That's kind of what we'll dive deeper into. So we're going to talk about what it is. And this is very, very specific, and we're going to break this down, but because it was already asked, it's an AI language model developed by OpenAI that can generate human-like text based on given prompts. But I told I go, that's confusing. That sounded very confusing. So I asked ChatGPT to rewrite this so a child would understand it. Okay. So here's 3 different ways they rewrote it. It's a computer friend that can talk like a real person and make up stories or answers to questions you ask. I like that one. It's like magic machine that can pretend to be a person and talk to you. Well, so if you need friends, there you go. And then number 3, ChatGPT is a computer helper that can talk to you just like a person and come up with answers or stories based on what you tell it. So we'll show you real. Yeah.
Yeah. So so just so people understand, when you type this into the website, it produced these answers in real time.
You got it.
You didn't make this. This wasn't someone on the other side. This was a computer that adjusted the answer so a child would understand, and that's what it came up with.
You got it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. So the question is, have you used it yet? And, if you want to put in the chat if you've used it, not used it, go ahead and we will pay attention. So I just want to kind of go way back when. I mean, I told you I've been doing this a long time, but I kind of want to explain like what I see as the future. So in 2007, this was a cartoon character that I had created of me that was done by a graphic designer. We went back and forth. I used this for my branding way back when, and I believe I paid like about $500 to have this produced.
Wow.
Now look at today. I used, now I can't think of what it's called. I have it on my phone. I will tell you in 2 seconds. What is it called? Lensa, Lensa. I dropped in a whole bunch of my, you have to drop in like pictures of you only in there. And then they created this within 10 minutes. I had over 100 different versions of, some were crazy, some were nuts. I mean, some made me look really old. These ones made me look cool with long pink hair. So I like this one. But bottom line is, look at the difference. I mean, look at how fast it was, inexpensive. Lensa has a small cost to it. It's an app. I mean, I think it's like, you can get 100 for like $6 or something crazy. So it's very, very low cost. So I just want to kind of show you, how far it's come. Here's another thing I look at. Like, look at Zoom. I mean, Kirk, you were probably on there before COVID hit, but I was there for about 3 years. I was talking we did our podcast on it before everybody knew what it was.
Right.
But in 2019, it truly became a household name. And that's what's happening right now with ChatGPT. It's becoming what every business cannot live without. So Microsoft and ChatGPT, I want to mention this too. $10 billion investment into ChatGPT. So obviously they see something as well. 2021, just kind of going through what happened with ChatGPT. The first year that the tech actually became available was 2021. 2022, more towards the end, I would say, of 2022, the masses became aware of it. And now 2023, everybody's learning and figuring out how to plug this into their business.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you will be left behind. You really, really will. And right now, they're talking about even job creation too, as well. So we talked already about my background. I do have an agency, and I follow everything that I watch what's out there. But honestly, I think ChatGPT is probably the number one excitement I've had for years and years and years. Not just ChatGPT, but all the AI software. So we talked about this. I started back when I was in my basement. And this is going to truly change the world. So we need to embrace it. We really, really do. Whether you embrace it, a ton, and whether you're using it for business or whether you're using it for trip itineraries. I mean, believe it or not, people do entire vacations using ChatGPT. I mean, there's crazy things you can do with it.
Yeah.
So I do want to explain that I am not truly an AI expert. Nobody is. It's right now, it's the Wild West, and we're all learning it together. but some people are more ahead of the curve than others. And I feel like, I've definitely been studying this. So this will be the biggest shift, I believe, in years. And I want to get into, so I will stop sharing and then I'll come back on. If there's any questions there, and then we'll do some demos so people can actually see this live, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I don't know if you read the intro. I shot video yesterday all day in Burnett County for a mock crash. So I got back a little late and didn't get all the things I needed to do to get to Ben. So I was up late doing some of this, but I used ChatGPT to create the intro for the show, which I posted on Facebook, and it came up with some of the creative writing. But it's just amazing how that works. I work with a local gun shop, and I teach some concealed carry classes, and he used ChatGPT to create the itinerary for the specific class, just because he had heard about it and he wanted to see how closely it related to what he would actually have in the class. And he said that he only had to change a couple things to make it very personal to him. What he probably could have done, which is what I did on the intro that I did, was I went back to the original question and I added that my name is Kirk Anderson, I'm the host, my special guest will be Janet Johnson. And it integrated that right into the response where you can just copy and paste it. My first introduction to ChatGPT was several weeks ago, where I knew about it, everybody was talking about it, but I jumped on a live call with Cliff Ravenscraft, the podcast answer man. And he said, let me know any questions. And my question was, hey, how do you come up with really good guests and really good questions for your guests? And he did what we'll do in a second, went to ChatGPT, and he just started, who's your demographic? Give me some information. And it started just coming up with this amazing list of potential guests and questions. And then I said, well, is this like real time? Like, how is it doing it? And I was mesmerized. And he said, well, give me a city that you like to go to. And he just wrote into ChatGPT, write a blog post about going to, and I think you said you were going to Wisconsin Dells, about Wisconsin Dells. And we go to Wisconsin Dells a lot because we have kids, so water parks. Yeah. It hit so many of the areas that we went to, and you could have literally copied that content and put it onto to a blog or something like that. So Luke Severson says, so it will kill individual creativity. Cool, laugh out loud, nothing like a source, outsourcing your own.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, you definitely still have to put in your own spin on things. But it helps you get the ideas, the concepts, that kind of thing. But creativity is never going to go away.
Right.
There's a big YouTuber I watched a video on yesterday, and he had a whole video about that. He wrote ChatGPT and he did the video. He went through the script step by step exactly, and he's like, that was the boringest video I've ever done. You know what I mean?
I saw that as well.
Yeah, so the creativity is still important.
Casey's not overly impressed with it, and he's got 10 million subscribers. I think this is, as a business owner, when I look at AI and so if I'm a graphic designer and I'm going to get paid $500 to make a cartoon of Janet Johnson, and now I will not get paid $500 because you're paying an app on your phone. It is $6 versus $500. Now, I went, when cartoons were kind of cool, I went to Fiverr and I paid a guy in some country $5 to create a very poor representation of me. So I think there is a fear of that. What are some of the things that you can do with AI? They're already integrating it into like a Photoshop replacement Photoshop's maybe trying to figure out a way to integrate it into that, where you can make your pictures look so amazing without all of the detailed work. video production. You
Oh
can
yeah,
you can
video
put it
stuff. Yeah.
into an editor, and it will edit your production for you based on what it sees. I don't know what it is, but you can do that. And so, as a video producer, as a photographer, as a web designer, I mean, at some point, my fear, just like Ben's. Ben is the owner of Dryden Wire. He thinks he'll be out of a job soon. That's. I don't think that you will, because you grind it and work really hard. But it's very possible that at some point we're going to see a shift in, make me a website, 5 pages with this as the subject, and it will just appear.
Oh, there's already programs out there for that, believe it or
Yeah,
not. But yeah,
yeah.
yep, exactly.
So there are naysayers. I think that we are needing to adapt and take advantage of it, lest we do lose a job. There is a McDonald's, I think it's McDonald's or some restaurant, that is completely staffless. I don't even know if they have one person there, but that was
Yeah.
on the news. So a staffless McDonald's, where it's just making the food. And then there's some restaurants that are using AI to order for you, and then they put the food on the tray, and it brings you to the table, and you take it. Do you still have to tip? You have to tip everywhere now. So
Yeah.
at fast food restaurants, they're asking for tips. It's crazy. Yeah. So that is the reality of things, and I think this is where if we don't get on board and figure out how to adapt and adjust, then we could be sitting in the background trying. If I still was trying to use Dreamweaver from early website design days instead of migrating to WordPress, I guarantee I wouldn't have any clients, because
Exactly. Yep.
you have to adjust and adapt. Now this is a big shift. 2022 hit and went into 23, and all we heard about was AI. So let's shift a little bit and talk about alternatives to ChatGPT, because that's the big one that is really quite good. There are some people that have been messing with it and trying to hack it. I've seen some Reddits where people have figured out some backdoor ways to get it to do some things that weren't meant to be done, and so I'm sure they're trying to figure out how to stop that. But we also have a new alternative, which is through Google, called Bard. Is it Bard? Bark?
BARD. Yep. Bard.
Bard. And I got an early invite to that. I asked one question and then kind of put it on pause to wait for it to upgrade, but that's lacking. I think they're coming around. I think I maybe froze a little bit. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're frozen. I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Okay, so I will. I'll keep talking and see if I can change my video back.
Okay. Yeah, Bard, I have not played with yet, Bard, because I did sign up for the early access. Maybe I missed it. I don't know, like, if I've gotten an email or not. But bottom line is, ChatGPT 4 just came out recently, and I do the paid version, which I highly recommend.
So what's the difference between the free version and the paid version? What are you getting?
You only get 3.5 with the free version, and 4 is so much more robust.
Okay.
So, and then I heard 5 is going to be fire. Okay. And you only are going to get that access to 5, and it's $20 a month. And if you run a business, $20 a month is nothing. So if you're doing this as a business owner, do it. Right. Do it. I highly recommend. So 4 is just, it produces much better content than the other versions do.
So you mentioned early on that you do sales funnels. Do you use a specific funnel? And can you kind of tell us a little bit about that for someone who's thinking about starting a business or would like to kind of make a professional go at a sales type thing? What is a funnel, and how are you building them?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you an example. I have two examples of how I even used ChatGPT to help with it. And um, when I get on a mission to build something, I do it pretty like go after it pretty fast. So I was able to. I have a TikTok ads course now, and I was able to build that. Now I have a lot of experience with clients, so I put the outline together and that on my own. But then what I did, and I knew the content. So the content part was not built with AI.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, okay, you need a sales funnel, which means a landing page for them to go to learn about the program and to buy it. And then the next thing is you need email sequences. You need um, all the different pieces, even a video potentially to market it. I did some ads for it. So even like if I was going to do a Facebook ad, now it's for TikTok, so I did it on TikTok. But I did. So when I went into ChatGPT and I said, lay out all the components of a sales page. And then they broke down all those components. Then I did it very specific, take component one and build out this part of it and write this. And so I built my entire sales page within no time at all. And I had everything done and including my entire training in 1.5 weeks. Normally, that would have taken at least 3 months. I see people that have built courses that take probably even a year sometimes. I mean, I see people that just, sit on a course. This can just really push it and speed it up for you. You can, like you mentioned, your friend that built, you could do the whole outline inside of there. I'm working on a new one. So I talked to about AI that I'm working on, a new course. It might become a membership as well. And I had ChatGPT break that down for me. So I said, okay, what components should it involve? And then I kind of looked at in my own mind, the one thing that we talked about is the jobs going away. Bottom line is the only reason I was able to do that as fast as I was is because I knew the components already. Like
Right.
I know how to build these sales pages. I've done this before. So you still need the human person. I knew that you need to run a Facebook ad, or I knew that you need to do this to get the traffic. So the bottom line is you still need the strategy behind it and the people that know what they're doing, but this can just speed things up tenfold.
Right. Which I think, we as marketers invest a lot of our time and energy into learning all this so that when a client comes to us and says, can you do this for us? They don't have to spend all that time. And that's why they
Exactly.
pay you and I, or, whatever the specialty is. We don't want to have to figure that out for ourselves. So we pay someone else to do it. And ChatGPT is just a tool that is highly competitive and is going to revolutionize things. So hopefully Google will be able to figure some components of that out. I think it's a very large undertaking. They came in the late hours of the game and are trying to
They
play
did.
catch up. But Google is not one that sits down on their hands. I'm sure that they have a huge team of very smart people that are figuring this out. So AI can be used for a variety of different things. Those short videos, I know that I have an app on my phone that was kind of pitched as if you want to make these short videos with clips and put text in them and pick some music and things like that, it will kind of create that content for you that you can share on Instagram or TikTok and things like that. There's more of those coming, and while you said $20 for a business person is no big deal, everything's $20. I mean, I've got Photoshop and Adobe. That's a monthly fee. My Microsoft suite is a monthly fee. My
That's my
email.
biggest expense in my business, other than the people that work for me, is all the tools that I
Yeah,
have.
it's
But
crazy.
when you're an online marketer, you need those to move
Right.
forward. It's just the way, So of course, like, I have to pay for a membership site, and we have to pay for, but you've got to look at, okay, what are you paying for now that you could possibly get rid of? That's what I
Right.
always say. Like
Yeah.
I was paying for Jasper 120. So Jasper.ai was before ChatGPT. So if you've not heard of that, it's a copy and it's very specific to copy. I, for 2 years, have been paying $120 a month for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I barely even touched it, which is sad to say. But they really are very specific to marketing. So they would, you can go in there and say, write a Facebook headline, right? Write a blog post, do this, and bottom line is they are really good. But I've found that what ChatGPT puts out is probably even better
Yeah.
at times. So I backed off. I was still paying for it. I backed off again. I've canceled it now, but in some ways I'm not positive if that's a good idea or not. But bottom line is we can get away with ChatGPT too. So
That's crazy. $120 a month. Now that's an investment there. I remember when Hootsuite came out and it was a couple bucks a month, and I got in on the $4 or $5 a month thing, and then they raised their prices to like $30 a month. And so I sat on it, and I didn't use it that often, but I didn't want to give it up because it was only $5 a month. And then they forced you to go up to that higher price, and I finally got rid of it. But yeah, everything's a monthly cost. Well, we can take a quick break. I want to talk about my sponsor, and I have a little short video. And when we come back, we will just take a look live. You're going to show some examples of ChatGPT, and then if anybody has any questions, they can run that as well. But let's hear a little bit about our sponsor.
Are you ready for a new cell phone or cellular service provider? Rhett Bozen's an AT&T authorized retailer and is ready to get you connected. Skip the store and get personalized support at your business or home. Call Rhett today at 715-771-3535.
All right, Rhett is a good friend of mine, and he's working with Bug Tussle and is on the AT&T platform. If you're tired of dealing with the stores and the runaround and getting upsold, you can skip the store, contact Rhett today, and he will personally reach out to you and help you pick the plan that works for you. And he's also a very nice man to work with. So check that out. Mention Dryden Wire so that you get the show specials that he has set up for you, and he'll take care of all that. All right, so Janet, I wanted to see in real time and let people who haven't signed up for this service go to that. So if you want to start sharing your screen, I'll move over to that. And so if you in the comments would like to kind of help with navigate some of the questions, put some ideas in the, let's see, there we go. All right, so this is ChatGPT. So put some something in the comments that we can share or ask the chat, but otherwise we'll just make it up as we go. But so this is GPT-4. So this is the paid version. It looks different than what I use.
Yeah. So like what you can see is there's a default, there's legacy, and you can see like even, the reasoning, the speed. Speed is a lot slower, conciseness, and then look at number 4. 4 still sometimes has its battles with, when there's too many people on, then it ends up being where it can be slower. So now this is a, just so you know, this here gives you prompts. So prompts are what right now they're calling, there's jobs out there called prompt engineers. And there's companies offering like couple $100,000 pay for prompt engineering. But it's not just about the prompts. You also have to know how to talk to ChatGPT, so it goes deeper than the prompts. But this is a Google, why can't I think what it's called? Google add-on. What is that called? Come on, Kirk, you probably know. Anyway, it's a Google add-on. And you can end up paying $9 to $29 a month if you want to have this. I'm playing with it right now, so it's in here, but I do not know if I'll keep it. So let me just show you some ideas. Like this is one that it has, get a monthly content calendar in one click. So if you click on that, you put the information down here, you can get that monthly content calendar. But you do not have to have this, but it's pretty cool, like 30 social media posts, have it be your social media manager. It's almost like this could be your VA, your virtual assistant for you.
Right.
These are some really, really cool things, but I'm going to do it more from scratch.
Does that output to like a calendar or provide something like that? I know a lot of folks use Canva and they create their, their videos or their marketing material, and then they'll use the calendar on Canva versus Facebook's calendar to schedule posts. Does this push that someplace, or do you have to transfer it yourself?
You have to transfer it yourself at this point. Yeah, this does not push it to the social media. You actually have to move it there yourself. Yep. This is kind of like the wording for things. This is kind of cool. Like I did a headline. I could show you this one, and then I'll do a real-time one. But this one was a quiz that we're doing, and I asked it to write me a Facebook headline because they only allow 45 characters. Mm-hmm. So this is what they did. They put it into a grid. So here is a possibility for a text. Here's a possibility for a headline. And here's a possibility for a description. And then they charted it. And look how many they gave me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And I was pretty specific on what their task was. And then I told them what.
125 characters, 155 characters, very specific.
Yep. So it's very specific to the characters. Now, I could expand on it then and say, like, here, we'll just play with this. I'll just continue going.
Yeah, I think it's good to do that because the speed at which this does this is so fast. This type of work, if it was a person doing it, you'd expect to hear back from them in a couple days to write all this copy.
I just kind of said, expand on the primary text and add some emojis. Okay, now this would be the text for the ads. Now, they love emojis and they love exclamation points, so you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't think I'd use that much emojis in ads. But now watch this. Okay, so now I could go,
They look good in emails, though, when you send them in a subject line. They get your attention.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but this is like overdoing it kind of with these emojis. Look how many there are. It's, but like, let's say I like number 3. Okay, so we're going to do write 3 more. Let's do 5 more. 5 additional longer versions of number 3 above. Okay, so now it is, they gave me a lot. Okay, so write 5 longer versions. So there's 5 of them.
More emojis.
There are emojis. Okay, now wait, watch this. Watch this though. Okay, so put 1 sentence per line with less emojis. Okay, now they got rid of the emojis. See, that's one thing they're not perfect by any means, but now they're doing 10 and then so like if we wanted number 10, we could turn this into what we want to. Right. We can humanize it. We can, you can only go so far with this. So it's not always going to be exact, but sometimes I'll copy and paste this exactly and then tell them to rewrite it as well. Sure. But this is just kind of showing you how fast you can do something like this. And it's good copy. It's not fantastic copy. So we could say, add a testimonial of, add this testimonial in the text of this. Now watch this. Like, let's just say we like one of these. Let's do the number 3. Write a 30-second video script for TikTok of number 3.
This is kind of what Casey Neistat did, was write a script for his video production for his vlog, and then did it exactly how it said it, and it was a little robotic. Even he and his wife had some interesting bantering back and forth, and he's like, this is terrible.
Funny.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, he did do it very robotic, yes, and you could, so this says, do you ever feel like you're not living up to your true potential? Our blind spot quiz can help you identify the hidden barriers holding you back and unlock your full potential. Like, if you could use this. I mean,
Yeah.
you could definitely use this.
I like that you
and it
can
could,
choose tone and writing style. So you could choose a stern tone or a happy tone, or if you're writing an obituary, which I would imagine you could probably use this to write an obituary. You choose to sound sad.
yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of change.
You got it. That hits the pain point. So we maybe want to, really hit the pain point. Maybe you kind of got to know a little bit about copywriting too, to really, that's one thing. Like, I work right now, one of my mastermind partners with AI is a copywriter, and he's paying attention because, the copywriter's the number one business that's going to be hurting by this, really. But if you don't know the proper copy or how to humanize this and how to, turn it into something that actually converts, it's still not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
So you
I
kind of
think
got to know what to put
I
in
think
it.
that's where you're going to, if they can truly get this to the point where it can replace the humans, the need for a human to personalize it even further, which there's always something that's going to need to be fine tuned, and but it's getting good. So arguably, going back to Luke's comment, I think that is true. We're outsourcing our ourselves, and but I don't think it's going to change. So we need to make a choice. Either you dig in and say, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm going to stick doing with what I'm doing. But then the chance that you'll be left behind is maybe the reality of it. So, I froze again.
Oh, you got it. You got it. So, like, I want to also share with you that
I'll put it back on
this feeds on top of each other. So, meaning, okay, so I was just rewriting. I'm working on my TikTok ads course. I want to I'm working on doing a virtual sales letter for it, which is a video sales letter. Sorry, video sales letter, VSL. And so I was working on that over here. You can see it's called TikTok Advertising Power. And we started with the niche and the avatar, and then they put in I knew the prompts to start with. I've been going through a lot of trainings on this, so this goes deeper, but I knew the prompts to start with. And then they spit out, all the information. Look at how much they gave. Then I write 10 more benefits. Please write in an emotional tone. So as you can see, then they change it up. And now there's 10 different things. And you can pick and choose. I actually used this in a recent email, but I only went down, I took 5 of those 10, because I didn't like them all. But I did actually use this specifically in an email.
So,
and then I put shorter, emotional, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead, Kirk.
In this situation, I'm going to switch back to our faces. In this situation, some of the AI that's out there that is really scary to me as a video person, I would have a spokesperson that would come into my studio and we would write a script and they would do their script. And you probably have seen on Facebook ads that are real people. I mean, they look absolutely real, but then all of a sudden the background disappears and their face turns into, they're actually AI. It's actually computer. And you go to ChatGPT, you create a script, you import it into their service, and they will automatically read through this whole thing in whatever accent, language, voice, and it's not computerized anymore. Which gets to the next point of how scary this could be, because these deep fakes where they are taking celebrities and making them say things that they're not really saying. And so how do you get to the point where it's like, is that really Barack Obama saying that, or is that someone who's just manipulating it? And you have to be able to...
Yeah, there are voice ones. It's crazy.
It's very crazy.
So when I did this master class, it was about a couple months ago, I used a program called Movio, Movio. And I took that pink-haired character of mine and I dropped her into Movio, and then I gave it a script, and then it actually moved the mouth and talked. And I tested that against my own video on camera, and the pink-haired one on Movio actually performed better.
Isn't that
Because it
interesting?
stood out, I think, too, because it was different, unique.
Right.
But the bottom line is, like, I didn't even have to be on camera,
Right.
which there's a lot of people that don't want to be on camera.
And that's, a video where you are getting a real person to feel comfortable with it. We use a teleprompter in our videos a lot of times, but they're still, they miss a word, or these programs don't do that. They are really, really flawless. And so you can produce marketing videos that could be dragged onto your website and a little personal pop-up, a handsome man or a beautiful woman or whatever, to sell that product with no flaws on the inflection of their voice. And that is revolutionizing things. And so back to Luke, outsourcing, I still have a video camera and I still know how to use it, but I better know how to do the next step, which is to say, hey, just pick a character from these 100 different characters. Do you want someone that's Asian? Do you want someone that's a woman? Do you want someone that's, whatever? And then what color dress do you want them to wear? What color hair do you, and it's kind of crazy when you start seeing it. It's like you pick the color hair, but you have the same face. It's all computer generated. So we're moving towards that direction, and it's either
we are, but I'm still okay. I'm going to go against that a little bit because I still think authenticity wins.
Yep.
And I still believe, like TikTok, for instance, it's the people that are actually in the videos. People sell people. People sell, like, it's not, I tell people, don't put a logo on your personal profile. Put your picture if you can, because people buy from people.
Sure.
So I think we still,
I agree with that.
If you cannot hide, I've been preaching video for years and years and years, and being on video. So if you are your brand, you really need to still embrace being on video. Now there are bigger companies and such, that not necessarily being on video, but I still believe it boils down to authenticity, and that's what's going to sell. So I think you can do some of that. And like I said, my cartoon character, which surprisingly did better than me on video. But the bottom line is, I still think we just, we need to be on video still. So I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
Well, I think, and that goes to the brands are partnering with people, not AI at this point.
Exactly.
And so there, I don't disagree with that, but I think when you have a company that either can spend $30 million on something, or they can shortcut and spend $500,000 on an AI product, there's a lot of companies that are going to say, well, we'll at least try the 500,000 first and see how it works. Hopefully, and you use with caution, because all these things are evolving, and this whole thing could tank. I'm not to scare you, but TikTok is under attack by the government.
Believe me, I've been that elephant's in the room every day of my life. But it's like, so is ChatGPT. You know what I mean? Like it got stopped in Italy. They want the privacy thing. But privacy, it's tough nowadays. Period. Right. So it's all, we don't know what the future holds for any of this, for sure.
Yeah, I want to just say thank you for bringing this. This has been intriguing for me, hopefully for the audience as well, as they kind of digest it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to just talk about your business specifically, and where people can find more information about Janet Johnson's different products and services.
Sure. Well, my main website's Janet E. Johnson. You got to put the E in there to find me, because there's too many Janet Johnsons in the world. So JanetEJohnson.com, and then AIwithJanet.com will give you that entire presentation that I gave you a clip of. If you want to go through that entire presentation. And in addition to that, we have a whole tools list that we kind of keep up to date in Google. You can get that by going through that masterclass as well, so if you want to learn deeper about AI. So that's AIwithJanet.com, or just find me, JanetEJohnson.com. I'm on every social media site. Instagram's probably my biggest, where I post the most, and that's just Janet E. Johnson as well. Everything's Janet E. Johnson.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I hope you have a great time in Nashville.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully the weather's a little warmer down there, but
We're
getting there. We've still
Yeah.
got a little snow in our yards, so we're hoping for that. But we'll end it there. We've right at that 1 hour mark, and so we went over even more than I thought. But I could sit and ask questions about this all day. So thank you so much for being a part of our show today, and thank you to the audience, to Ben Dryden, for giving us a platform and a conversation to have. I look forward to more opportunities to chat with you in the future. I'm Kirk Anderson with the Kirk Anderson Show. My special guest is Janet E. Johnson, and thanks to Ben Dryden and the good folks out there on Facebook for allowing us to be here. We'll call it a day, and we'll see you next month. Have a great day.
Thank you.